And I meet a lot of people here. They ask, what is my vocation? How, as a Dominican, you can tell us, how can you discern your vocation? To be priesthood, lay state, married.
How can you discern your vocation?
How you discern it? How would you
advise
people? What should they do?
It is very easy. Once your will is aligned with God's will, then eventually you're going to will what He wills. So the more you abide in Christ or remain in Christ, Christ remains in you, then He begins to reveal the purpose of your life. Right? So it's like a relationship. The more you know that person, the more you know what that person wants and what that person needs and how that person thinks. So vocation comes primarily from establishing this deeper relationship with God. That's the beginning.
How would you do that? A lot of people don't know about God.
Well,
how do they get that relationship?
Pray the rosary daily, go to Mass daily, but especially go before the Blessed Sacrament. Read scriptures. Surround yourself with holy things, holy people. So the more you're around holy people, the more you pray, then eventually you begin to listen to God's voice. So there are a lot of people who claim to do God's will, but when you ask them, have you listened to God's voice? And they look at you and like, no. I'm like, no, you have to listen to Him. Prayer is about listening in silence. The world is so bombarded with noise. I mean, how do you expect to know God's will if you're constantly listening to television and all the miseries in the world and you're depressed? You can't listen to God's voice. So you have to sift away all those things so that God is your focus, God is your center. In that way, God is going to reveal His will.
You hear it as an inspiration?
Absolutely. God speaks to us in many ways. Even as a priest, God spoke through people I didn't know. People who walk up to me and says, God is going to be a priest. I ran for 5-6 years. Eventually I gave in. Away from it. Until I had to challenge God to give me a sign. And He gave me a sign, and it was scary. And eventually I gave in. So the key is to discern how God speaks to you. Sometimes He can speak through a homily. And the key is this. When God speaks to you, the greatest sign is peace. Sometimes He can inspire you with holy thoughts. But when you experience that peace, that's God telling you, this is where I want you to be, this is what I want you to do. Peace is God's infallible sign. I often use Jesus' first appearance after the resurrection. Whenever He appeared to the apostles, what were His words? Peace be with you. What did that mean? He was basically telling them, you cannot do my work if you don't have this peace. Yes, I'll go to my Father, but guess what? My peace will always be with you. It's your strength. It is my presence with you. It's going to lead you to where I want you to go. It's that peace.
Unbelievable. Beautiful.